Fox News alert, it's been 2 months since Butler and we've been left hanging. But don't be too curious. The Washington Post talked to researchers who study political violence, and they say that simply talking about Trump's assassination attempt could lead to more violence. So asking questions about political violence leads to more political violence, they say. I think we've just been told to stop asking questions. The paper that broke Watergate doesn't want to know what happened in Butler. It's like Melania is asking more questions than the Washington Post. Secret Service Director Ron Rowe would like to keep us in the dark. He briefed Congress on the agency's Trump assassination report today, but wouldn't say much to us.
What do you hope to tell the American people about accountability, your message to senators today, sir?
Looking forward to working with Congress to make sure that we never have a tragedy like July 13th again.
So what did Rowe say to Congress today? Sorry, it's classified. They only leak if it's about the Russia hoax. But members who met with him are furious.
I think the American people are going to be shocked, astonished, and appalled by what we will report to them about the failures by the Secret Service.
To me, it's still inexcusable that a guy for 90 minutes before a rally has a rangefinder and you don't stop the proceeding. You've got to either investigate him, search him, or stop the meeting.
This was a series of unacceptable, and I would call it almost complacency on the part of those involved.
This is going to be your typical federal government screw-up. Everybody says how bad things were, and they're all posturing about how upset they are. Then no one's held accountable. Senator Josh Hawley joins me now with some new whistleblower reporting. What are they telling you now, Senator?
Jesse, what I'm learning now is that the lead advance agent that day in Pennsylvania, this is the agent that was in charge of Trump's entire trip in Pennsylvania, that this agent actually failed one or more of her training exams when she first joined the Secret Service. I mean, the pattern that is emerging here, Jesse, from whistleblowers who've come forward to me now over and over again is that the Trump rally was undermanned, it was understaffed, they did not have people who had experience on it, and now this advance agent, I'm told, may have failed one or more of her training exams and was known not to be a top quality agent. I mean, this is absurd, and the fact that the director will not level with the American people about what's going on here is just totally unacceptable and unbelievable.
Director Cheadle, we know, had a priority to make 30% of the Secret Service women. So this woman fails, maybe once, maybe twice, maybe more, and doesn't matter, Cheadle still makes her in charge of the protective site detail for Butler, knowing that there was an Iranian threat.
Yeah, see, this is what's so hard to understand, is that if this individual had failed one or more of her training exams, if she was known not to be really one of the Secret Service's top agent, she's in the Pittsburgh office, why was she put in charge of the entire trip, Jesse? I mean, the whole thing. She was in charge of the whole works from the time the president landed to the time he went to Butler. It's just totally inexplicable. And Jesse, one other thing. I'm told by people who are close to and have knowledge of the Secret Service's own internal investigation that the Department of Homeland Security is leaning on the Secret Service not to comply with document requests to Congress. I mean, this is really getting to be outrageous. The American people need the truth here.
Yeah, there's a cover-up going on. Now that's definitive. And thank God for this whistleblower pipeline that your office established. Senator Josh Hawley, thank you very much for what you continue to do. We really appreciate it. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.